Hi, welcome everyone to PopCultX episode 94. Pop culture from a Gen X point of view. Let's go ahead and get started. With me, as always, is Danny. My name is Gabriel, and we are the Generation X connoisseurs of pop culture. And so let's go ahead and get started. What's been up with you, Danny? What have you been into?
Well, a few things. So I watched a few movies, read a few comic books, played some video games. The usual. The usual, I guess you could say. That's pretty much what we do here to prepare for this show for everyone out there to be mystified by our knowledge, I guess, of pop culture. So I the first thing I'll say is I learned about and started playing a game on my phone called Marvel Snap. It's a pretty addictive game. It's basically like a card game, turn-based, where you get different superheroes and villains in your deck, and then you play against, I don't know if it's a computer or random people out there, but it's been pretty fun so far. I've been enjoying it. Everyone, if anyone's out there playing and they know more about it than me, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comment field or find us on our social medias and let me know tips, tricks. It's been pretty fun. I'm doing pretty good. I think I've lost only like once. So kudos to me. What about you? What have you been up to?
I went to the movie theater for once. It's been a while since I've been to the actual movie theater, and so we went down to the AMC and saw Knock on the Cabin Door, I believe is what it's called, by M. Night Shyamalan. It was quite interesting. For those that haven't seen it, it's about a married couple who happens to be a same-sex couple who has an adoptive daughter, who are approached by a group of four random people who say that the end of times is coming, and in order to prevent it, they have to willfully choose to sacrifice one of their family members. So either, a father, or the daughter. And basically what happens or what ensues after that. It's really good. It's well written. It's different from many of his other films, I should say. But it was pretty straightforward. I rather liked it. It was entertaining. Nothing, no super weird plot twists like some of his other films. I think that maybe he might have given up on that as a gimmick, which is good. I think I don't necessarily need to have a surprise ending or surprise twist at the end of every film that he makes. But the acting was really good. I think that the standout performance would be from, now I can't think of his name, of course, because I'm old.
Bautista?
Yeah, but Dave Bautista, he was really good. He plays a coach slash teacher, and he is one of the main, antagonists of the film. He's trying to convince them to kill one of their family members. So it's really good. It's well directed by M. Night. He makes a surprise appearance in it, as he always does in his films. So I would recommend it. It definitely was fun to be in the theater again and see like a popcorn movie, what I would call like something that kind of you get engrossed in and have your big tub of popcorn and soda and it's entertaining. It's full. It's fun.
I wonder if it didn't have the classic M. Night twist at the end was because it was based on a book, right, that he didn't write.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's based on a book by an author named Paul Tremblay called Cabin at the End of the World.
Oh, nice.
So I wonder if that's the reason why it didn't have that twist, is because he was being more authentic or more honoring the book. Interesting. I can't wait to see it.
I had no idea it was based on a book, and now I kind of want to read the book, of course, because I'm like a nerd and I love reading. Yeah, that would explain it. And when we went, I kind of wondered, I wonder if he wrote this film as well. And I didn't quite catch if he wrote the movie, but there you go. There you have it. So that may explain it, but I'm really kind of glad that he kind of maybe just took the helm of director this time and didn't stick to his own script. And sometimes his movies can be a little much with the surprise ending at the end. So really was kind of fun watching that. But after that, of course, this week we saw an episode of The Last of Us, which is still going strong, really well acted, fun plot. Kind of suspenseful. You don't really know what's going to go on. A little bit of a cliffhanger this week. For those that have watched it, they know what happened. For those that haven't watched it, there's a bit of a cliffhanger, so you don't know what's going to happen. So it's keeping me on the edge of my seats. Definitely, I'm looking to try to find out what happens, even though I guess it's already written because it's based off a video game, but I've never played the video game, so I don't really know what's going on. But I continue to become a fan of all of the actors that are involved in it because they're just it's so well acted. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I still need to catch up, but it is a fantastic series, and I think one of the better ones that HBO Max has done.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you read some stuff. What did you read this week?
Well, I finished, I guess I would say. I read The Black Widow from 2020, the run written by Kelly Thompson, and it is fantastic. I don't know if you've read any Black Widow comic books or not.
I haven't. It's not one of my favorite characters, but
if you still have the Marvel Unlimited app, go look up the Black Widow run from 2020, written by Kelly Thompson. It is just fantastic. It's suspenseful. It includes it has so many guest appearances. Of course, Black Widow's in there. Yelena comes in. Spider Woman comes in. No, not Spider Woman. Araña comes in. So Anya Corazon comes in. Hawkeye's there. What's his name? Winter Soldier. That's me pointing to the fake R. Yeah, it just has it's really good, keeps you on the edge of your seat, like you were saying about the video game movie or series, and it's just really, really well written. I highly, highly recommend you go read it.
Yeah. It just there's something about reading comics where the characters don't have superpowers that really bugs me. I don't know why. Like I have to have superpowers in order for me to get into it. It's too real. It's too based in reality, I guess, for me.
I can see that. Yeah.
You can pick up a bow and arrow and become like an expert at it, but you can't pick up Mjolnir and become the god of thunder. Like it just, I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
If based off of your recommendation, I will have to check it out. But I like to stick to my superhumans and mutants and godlike powers.
Fine, whatever. No.
But it's weird because you definitely stick to that same, like, I don't think that you've really read anything with anyone that has. Well, I guess Daredevil has superhuman abilities, right? Because he can
Yeah, they're superhuman. Yeah. They're not like godlike, but they're superhuman.
Yeah, superhuman-esque. But they're kind of more real and kind of based in somewhat of a reality, I would say.
I've read Moon Knight. He gets his power from the moon god, right? Kunoshu. So I read that. Yeah. So that he's kind of he's the fist of the guy on Earth, right? So he's like the Avatar or whatever you want to call it down here. I've also started reading the Avengers Unlimited. I think it's called like Avengers Infinity or something. It's like on that app as well. And that's cool. There's a little series in there called the Kaiju Wars.
Where you scroll it up.
Yeah.
Those are weird.
They're weird, but they're cool. Same time.
Yeah. I think one of our guests that was on the show, Terry, did one of those for
Nova.
Do you remember? Was it for Nova? And they're interesting. I checked it out. It's an interesting kind of way to read a comic, to just kind of keep scrolling, and the format's kind of cool.
Yeah, and another guest, Alex Segura, he's doing the current Avengers arc on there as well. That's what got me started reading that Avengers one. The other thing I watched was on Apple TV Plus. Now, I will say this, Apple TV Plus is really making a big push, I think, to become like the best streaming studio around, because they have Ted Lasso, they have Mythic Quest, they have Servant, which is M. Night Shyamalan's series. They have many other ones, but the one I started was Hello Tomorrow with Billy Crudup. So I saw like the first 3 episodes of that, and it's like a retro futuristic. So I think it looks like it takes place in like the late 50s, early 60s, but all the tech is like picture like a live action Jetsons in a way. So they got robots that are automated, they got flying cars and stuff like that. So that's why I call it the retro futuristic type stuff. But it's really cool. He plays like a salesman that's selling property on the moon because there's a human colony on the moon there now. So it's really cool. It's really interesting. The acting is really well done by Billy Crudup. I've seen him in other stuff, but I really appreciate his chops in this one.
Nice. It feels like they're kind of going with like a small volume of shows, but like really high quality.
Yeah.
Whereas like Netflix has like a ton of stuff that they, put out. Amazon has a lot of stuff. But it looks like feels like there's not as much content, but the content that they do come out with is really well thought out and really high quality. That's my perception of what Apple's doing, but really cool. What other stuff have I watched this week that has been really good? I'm trying to think of um there's some stuff on Netflix that I'm watching regarding there. It's a show called Lockwood and Company.
Saw it.
Have you started watching it? Did you watch
Yeah.
the whole series already?
I think we're up to episode 6, 5 or
Oh,
6.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's an
pretty good.
interesting concept for those that like don't know. It's about England where there are teenagers who can sort of deal with the paranormal. They can either see the ghosts, they can hear them, they can kind of have all these type of like extrasensory perception powers, and then the adults who like grew out of those powers kind of lead them in catching these ghosts, I guess, and kind of solving the mystery around
Right.
the ghosts. And but it becomes a very big kind of bureaucracy, and one of the main protagonists gets kicked out of the organizations and has to kind of go start with this small teenage led paranormal investigative group, who's led by Lockwood, his surname. So it's really interesting. It's really well acted. I love anything that's British. So I'm all aboard for that. But it's really fun so far. I think I'm on episode 3 as of right now.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I think so the overall premise, right, where like there's this affliction that been really catastrophic to the whole world, where like these ghosts, they touch people and they kill them, or they put them into some like catatonic state, right? And I think there's a lot of promise there, or not promise, but you can go like international with it, right? So it's not just happening in England, it's happening all over the globe. So imagine you get the United States version, you get the Mexico version, Spain version, whatever you want to say. So I think that's really cool. When I was watching it, that's where my mind was going. It's like, if this is happening globally, how are they attacking it in other countries? So curious to see if they
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And like, which of the ghosts would be the worst to have to deal with? Like, of any country, which one would you like? I want to stay out of there.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, oh goodness. Maybe where are the Vikings from? Like Norway or something?
First thing that pops into mind is Germany. I don't know. I mean, I guess they have a bad reputation, but like, they, yeah, I was thinking more like Germans.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, in this world, when did the affliction happen? Was it after World War II, before? I don't recall the exact timing of it. But if
Yeah,
it's like after World War II, imagine the amount of ghosts in Germany and stuff. Yeah, that would be
yeah.
horrific. Yeah. I did watch another movie called The Woman King. That's on Netflix now.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really well done. Really enjoyed it. The Viola Davis should have been nominated for Academy Award for that role. It was really, really well done. Also the supporting actors on that movie. What's her name? Ooh, I have it here. Hold on. Thuso Mbedu. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she plays like the main character who it's the story's like not centered around because that's Viola Davis, but she plays like the main sub character supporting actress, I guess you would say. And then
Right.
Sheila Atim, I think that's how you say her last name, Sheila Atim. She was really good as well.
Nice. I know there was some controversy surrounding that, but I'm just curious to watch it because they're supposedly based the Dora Milaje from Black Panther on these group of African warriors. So
Hmm.
just that alone kind of makes me really intrigued by the historical aspect of it, because they were, quote, real. Although, there's some controversy as to whether or not they sort of downplayed their role within the slave trade. But I think that just as a vehicle for having a vehicle for strong women is
Yeah.
really interesting. And I am kind of wanting to watch it just based off of that. I'm a huge fan of Viola Davis. I think she's like, I mean, it's sort of like the newer generation version of Meryl Streep. Not that Meryl Streep's gone, but she's like picking up the mantle where Meryl Streep has kind of trailblazed, I guess, like just
Yeah.
good film after good film after good film. So definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, it is. It is really. And when I was watching it, and that was the first thought that popped into my head. Is like, oh, it's just like in Black Panther. And I was thinking, did they base it on this actual women warrior tribe?
Mm.
And I guess they did. So that's pretty cool. So anything
All
else you
right. So the
see?
other thing that I've been
Use take three.
well, as a matter of fact, there is some other stuff that I've been watching.
Okay.
I'm still a big fan of Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne.
Hmm.
I have I'm up to date on all the episodes. They're really great. The guest star appearances by all the actors are amazing. But one of the other things that like are surrounding or that I guess is involved with that show is that she's doing a lot of promotions, and she's one of the most interesting people I kind of find to be on the late night talk show circuit. I don't know if you've seen any of her interviews, but she's been on like the Drew Barrymore show. She's been on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Um, she kind of reminds me of like a Carrie Fisher, someone that like I would pay money to just sit there
Hmm.
and listen to
Hmm.
hear talk. Like
Hmm.
she's got
Hmm.
cool stories. I don't know if it's like a New Yorker thing and like her smoker's voice, but there's something of well, one, I think I know what it is. It's her intelligence. She's a very intelligent
Yeah.
person. She's very witty. She's very funny. She's beautiful. But she's very quirky, and she has sort of like a different type of beauty that makes her really stand out from the rest of Hollywood.
And
And
her
so I think
hair.
that's what makes me love the show even more is that the star of it is someone who's kind of kooky, who is sort of left of center, and it makes me like it even more. I'm
Yeah.
just such a big fan of hers. She also makes the Russian doll, and she was talking on
Hmm.
Night with Jimmy Fallon that that's kind of being put on the back burner because she wants to direct, and so she's gonna, I think, be making her debut in films, and I think
Oh.
that would be really fascinating to see her perspective on filmmaking. One of the things that she said in regards to that, she's like, "Yeah, I think I'll call them pictures. I'm going to start making pictures," and it's just she's so adorable. Like I like her so much because she has
Yeah.
such a like it's just a different type of celebrity that we're not used to. I think that she harkens to like another era. It's like an '80s like I don't know. There's just something different about her. I can't put my finger on it, but she is amazing. I do love her. I'm a big fan.
I same here. I completely agree. I love everything she's done or will do in the future. But
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the nail there. There's something about her personality, and it's just like you could tell her mind is racing faster than her mouth can probably keep up. And she talks fast. So
Yeah.
it's like you know that the wheels in there are going really fast. And I find that fascinating. And even in the show Poker Face, it's almost like she's playing herself in a way because her character is almost equivalent to how she is in real life, I think. it's very similar. Of course,
Yeah,
she doesn't live on a car and drive around, solving murders, or maybe she does.
yeah,
And this is just like a real
yeah.
life story. I don't know. But it's yeah, she's fascinating. I enjoy all of her work.
Yeah, I think what didn't Barbara Walters used to do like the top 10 most fascinating people of the year? Like I feel like if she was still alive and she was still doing that, she would be a shoe-in for this year.
Hmm.
Because she is really, really interesting and just really fun to watch being interviewed. She's a really cool celebrity that I am a big fan of right now.
Yeah.
Outside of that, is there anything else that you've been watching or listening to?
Uh I watched a few other movies and shows. Watched just real quick, name them The Fablemans. Watched finally got around to watching the movie Hidden Figures. That
Okay.
came out, I think, in 2016, and with Octavia Spencer and
Yeah.
who else is in that movie?
Janelle Monáe.
Yes, that was those three actresses: Janelle Monáe, Octavia Spencer, and oh goodness, I don't want to leave the last one out. I think her name is oh goodness, why am I blanking? Hold on, let me go to my
It's from
trusted resource. Yes, I think
yeah,
you're correct. Yes, Taraji P Henson. Yes, I don't know why. Sorry, Taraji, I blanked on your
yeah.
name, but there you are.
There we go. We're never gonna have her on our podcast.
I blew that one.
Way to go, Dad.
But all three of their performances were just fantastic and phenomenal. It was just really well done. I don't know why it took me so long to finally watch the movie, but I did, and I'm glad I did because the three characters that those ladies portrayed, that they were based on real life characters, they were just geniuses. Oh my goodness. I was just amazed by that. And I was like, wow, I wish I could be that smart. Really do.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's an amazing true story, but it's also kind of sad because it's a reminder of where we
Yeah.
came from
Hmm.
historically speaking, because they were Black women and
Yeah.
how they were held back because of that. Having to use separate restrooms, being held in
Hmm.
different facilities, and yet like they were literally like the smartest people in the room.
Yeah.
So it is, but it is a great celebratory moment for those women. And it's just a really interesting film just to watch and know that they actually existed. And there's people that were that smart and were instrumental in, that whole space program
Hmm.
thing. So really cool. I definitely love watching that movie. It's one of my favorites.
And it makes me wish, I mean, the society, how it was, that aside, it makes me miss, or not miss, but wish that we'd been alive, or me at least, during the space race, right? For that whole fascination of sending people up into the heavens, right? And up into the stars. And that's always fascinated me. And I wish I could have been around during that time just for that bit. I could have done without all the segregation stuff and, you know, maybe that's why I like that show Hidden Tomorrow so much, because it is that retro futuristic type of thing.
Yeah, I feel you. I think that that was a fascinating time within that specific aspect of his history.
Exactly,
But like you said, you
exactly.
don't want to
Hmm.
the negative stuff.
Yeah.
But that whole like retro futurism, I'm definitely a fan of. Like when we thought that we would have like flying cars
Hmm.
and robots, and we still haven't been, that hasn't been delivered to us. But I'm definitely a fan of that, like 1960s 70s like future in 23. I kind of wish that I don't know if you're familiar with it. He does kind of graphic illustrations from that sort of type of era, and he's
What was
really
his
cool.
name
A
again?
lot of his stuff, Jag,
Okay.
Shag. Yeah, he
Okay.
does a lot of like really cool stuff. I'm a big fan of his illustrations, but yeah, I love that film. Yeah, but outside of that, I've spent most of my week. Um, I decided to not only alphabetize all my comic books and graphic novels, but also pull out my favorite variant cover artist. So
Hmm.
I'm also, because I don't know, I'm crazy, decided to pull all the comic covers by Maria Wolf, Peach Momoko, and Ed Luce. so that I could have them separated. So that's been quite the daunting task to go through all my hundreds and hundreds of comics in order to pull those. So that's been a timely,
keeping you busy, huh?
been keeping me busy. So I've been listening to a lot of music, a lot of old school, old school stuff from like our heyday. I've been listening to Hole's album, listening to the Smashing Pumpkins. So very on brand for me, very 90s.
It's funny you say that because I was listening to 90s albums as well. Of course, the Nirvana Unplugged live in New York. That's always been on repeat on mine. And I still listen to it at least once a week, the whole album. But I was also listening.
Something really funny happened to me. Not to cut you off, sorry, but my dad saw a Nirvana shirt and he was like, "When are you guys going to give it up with Nirvana?" And I said, "When you guys stop talking about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones." And he's like,
I think I saw some today would have been Kurt Cobain's 56th birthday, I think. Had he survived his demons, I guess. So yeah,
circumstances.
Circumstances, demons. Yeah, I think circumstances is probably a better word because it's still a little gray area as to what went down if you believe all the different documentaries and whatnot.
I don't. I'm not like a really big conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I tend to think that like there's nothing stranger than the truth.
That's
and
true.
Mental illness is a real bastard. So sometimes just reality in life is weirder and stranger and a harder pill to swallow than anything that someone could make up. So I don't know, but I could be wrong. I mean, I could one day be confronted by the Illuminati and hopefully asked to join. I want to join if they exist. Send me an email. No, don't send me an email because I do get those emails actually. Send me like a letter with like a wax seal to know that it's official.
Yeah, there you go.
Where like they had to write with like one of those like quills with like the feather in it.
Delivered by a falcon.
Yeah, then you're dealing with the real Illuminati. I can't even say the word, let alone like join.
You have to be able to say the word if you want to get in. That's like the first test. Right? Well, I think that's all I have for this week. So everyone out there, thanks for tuning in, for hanging with us as we go through some glitches in our, our Wi-Fi this week. Hopefully it wasn't too bad and it was bearable. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, subscribe, help us get to a nice round number. We're currently sitting at 173, I think. I'd like to double that before the end of this year, so only with your help. So thank you, everyone. Follow, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.